across to McNino. Bev. John, please take over.
Thanks, TG. Whenever you agree to Kaunda and ask him how he was, his answer would always be, "And you're right, kiddo. And now you million banking. I'm not okay, kiddo." Kaunda and I arrived at the D.V. Taylor house. Our parents knew each other. I think either my dad or his mom was in the choir. Mom was in the choir. And my mother was the same clan name as Kaunda. And years later, we during the festival in Latano, Tata would greet me at the gate that night when we arrived. He greeted me at the gate with his infectious laugh and his voice of a bear. Welcome, John. Did you know that you and Kaunda are cousins? At that point, whether it was factually correct, if it was Yafana and his cousins, it was inconsequential because by that time we were chosen to be brothers. Not just me, we were and still are. A lot of us moved hostel when we moved to high school, a college house. We did have ET directors, OTG, and some which were unfortunate enough to live in prison. But for the most of us, we all lived in college house. And we took on being new boys in our stride. We just stuck together in everything that we did. We were also a very naughty bunch. We were a very naughty bunch. We were a very, very, very naughty bunch. And we did it all together. I remember for some reason in 1998, we decided that we were going to skip the prize giving. I don't know why we decided that, but we decided we were going to skip the prize giving. And then we decided that we were going to arrive super late because the school had threatened that if you arrive late at the prize giving when the doors are closed, they were not going to let you in. So we said, okay, fine. We are going to take a very slow walk from college house to the school hall, which was a good 20 meters. So it had to be very, very slow walk. But when we arrived there, we found a few prefects waiting for us, and we got in big trouble. The school didn't deal with us. It was the prefects that dealt with us. Or Jason, Gareth, and Charlie had a conversation with us on the Monday. We would also go for midnight swims since we lived opposite the swimming pool. We'd bunk out together to town. We'd pull pranks and wage war on other dorms, and we all did it together. We were a nightmare, but as John Roxon would tell me years later, that group could back it up. As naughty as we were, that group was a group of achievers, and Kaunda would be right at the top of it. Kaunda starred in winning school plays and would go on to write and star in winning school plays. One of the plays was called Macbeth, which was a play on Macbeth and Ubev, as Kaunda was affectionately known. I changed a few lines in that script, maybe like one or two, and I would always tell him that I co-wrote the play. He would throw a fit because I was just doing that just to tick him off. Oh yes, and there was that little thing that he did called rugby, 50 first team caps, over 50 first team caps, first team captain, SA Schools 1999, SA Schools captain in 2000, and SA Under 19 captain in 2001, let alone his professional career, which includes a Currie Cup in 2005. Kaunda, as I think Tando just said, was also a gentle giant, loving and protective, almost to a fault. So everyone who knows me would know, after I've had a couple of refreshments, I always tell my friends how much I love them and even give them a kiss. Kaunda always say, yeah, kiddo, I love you too, man. And sometimes he'll prepare himself well in advance and sit far away from me. Uyapuza when I get a Kausel. I must sit very far away from you. Kaunda was protective. We all know this. He was even protective against himself. There was one night we went out, went to Rosebank, Kaunda, and before we went home, we would buy sub sandwiches at the sandwich shop opposite the place we were visiting. For some reason, we got into an argument about this sandwich. I was actually arguing by myself. Kaunda just sat there mocking me by just slowly eating this sandwich, knowing that it was riling me up more and more and more. And then in a fit of rage, I just grabbed the sandwich and I tried to throw it on the floor. And I walked away to the car. Little did I know that pieces of the sandwich had actually hit his face. After a few minutes, a very, very angry Kaunda, but a very calm Kaunda, went to the car. And he told me in non-certain terms how he could crush me like a grape, but he didn't. So he also protected me against himself. Kaunda knew what he wanted. I think when his contract ended with the Cheetahs was nearly coming to an end and renewal in October of 2005, I think it was. He told me about a meeting that he had with Rassi, where Rassi offered him a contract to coach one of the junior teams, coach and play, or just coach. I can't remember the specifics. But Kaunda's, he told me about the conversation, and his response was, Rasta, I'm here to play rugby. I'm not here to coach. And obviously, the coach was quite surprised, and just he let him know again that, rejecting this could mean the end of the relationship between him and the Cheetahs. Kaunda said again, Rasta, I'm here to play rugby. I'm not here to coach. Now, that was not a sign of arrogance. That was a sign of someone who knew exactly what he wanted. And Kaunda would go on and display that attitude of intent time and time again. In 2011, in January, if I'm not mistaken, Kaunda came back from the holidays. We used to live together. He came back from the holidays. He walked in. I was sitting on the couch. He was by the kitchen door. He found me sitting on the sofa. Kero, compliments, man. Kero, hey man, I met a girl. Kero, man, and he hadn't even sat down yet. I thought, okay, whatever. But as a good friend, I asked the questions. I encouraged the conversation. And indeed, years later, Kaunda, that very same person you're talking about, he ended up getting married to. That would be Wavio. Another time would be when we moved up to Johannesburg together. All of our belongings in his gold polo, gold member is what he called that car. After a few months with the Lions, the writing was kind of on the wall that his contract was not going to get renewed. And I think he foresaw that injury amongst other things. I'm not sure why I was around when he contacted Kaunda as Pella, but that's the story for another day. He told me that he was calling it quits on his rugby career months before. It was not an easy time because the curtain was closing on what was supposed to be an illustrious playing career. Upe would call me in the middle of the day and come to see me at MultiChoice. He would tell me about things that were troubling him, which we spoke through. But I think most importantly, Kaunda, he would tell me about his dreams. Gero, I want to do something where my creativity and my sport would come together. So we had a lot of these impromptu meetings in the parking lot. He would come sporadically at MultiChoice and come. But through time, the meetings would change now. Kaunda wouldn't come from Wits or wherever he was from. Kaunda would be coming from next door, a SuperSport, where he'd have a series of meetings, where his dream was starting to come to fruition. At the same time, he started working for C Squared, where his creative side would shine. His creativity and his sport would finally culminate, as he had spoken months before. Kaunda was a connector. When he moved to Bloemfontein, he connected many of us who had come from the Eastern Cape, by living separate lives. We reconnected with old schoolmates, with new friends, with the rugby guys, and a whole new community was built around this guy. And every Saturday we'd go to Vodacom Park to watch the Cheetahs, to watch him play for the Cheetahs, or catch the game on live TV when the time came. You know, I've not even scratched the surface of who this guy was, because how do you try and put over 28 years of friendship and brotherhood in 10 minutes? You know, how do you deal with that in a single moment when you get a text telling you will never see, talk to, or grow old with your longtime friend? That's what we all dealt with last week. That's what we are dealing with now, and it's not going to care for us for a very long time. To the gents, I've spoken to most of you during the course of this week, and it has been very difficult. We like to put on a brave face, but I think it's okay, you know, right now, to just let your guard down and be there for one another, you know, because we need each other and we need to support one another. To Mama, Utando, Nokoza, nice. You know, no one deserves to go through what you have been through in the past couple of weeks. To Waviwa, everyone I've spoken to in the past week was breaking for you and asked me to send you their love. We prayed for you and will continue to pray for you. Uloiso Saloid told you at your wedding that when you married Kaunda, you married all of us. Never did we imagine that it would happen so soon. But it's time for you to cash that check. It's a corner, and we're here for you, and we'll be here for you and the kids. Bachanabet. Bavungwana, my good friend. Goodbye, my mate. Rest in peace, Bev. Rest in peace, Panda. Till we meet again. Cheers.
Yeah, no, Masbulele Mutlajo. Yeah, not easy week. But also it couldn't have been easy for Mama. Way back in 1991, it was when we all went for interview at Dale Junior. I failed the interview. I had to go to St. Christopher's, and then Davidson, and then I only got accepted in 94. But I think you guys got in. And the reality is that Omama left us at DV Taylor House. I think Nick and the few boys were there, but with no one, it was still an uncertain time politically in our country. And I think you guys from day one started forming a friendship that we now continue to enjoy. So thank you, John, for those words. I didn't like the part though when you're saying, "Bah, you told Avu you're marrying us all," because my wife, especially when we're in Joburg, she doesn't want to look after me. When you guys complain, she's like, "Ah, it's me in." But that's the story for another day. I have a message here from one of the mothers who braved it and left us back in those days. One of the early mothers as well, Umama Upem Chwete, who is now Deputy Minister. She's now watching live on YouTube, and obviously we spent, the guys would spend a lot of days and afternoons and Sundays, especially at their house, in the guise of going to visit Umonde, but really we just wanted better food. I think her message is as follows: condolences to Kaunda Ntunja and family, Kaunda's mother and his friends. Kaunda was like a son to me and my family due to the close relationship we had with my children when they were dealt together. I used to enjoy watching their games with my late husband, Steve, especially when they played against Grey PE. And of course, that was the big fixture then, Selborne and PE. We knew we had to beat them. His Xhosa commentary was something to behold and made the experience of watching rugby extremely entertaining. Rest in peace, Kaunda. Rest in peace, Zizi. Regards, Pam Chwet. I think that then brings us to the end of that segment. Usindu sent me a message saying he's really struggling to connect. Umathosa spoke at the private funeral on behalf of Ifrans Kulena Zutua. And I think we will leave it there.